I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark. The man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Use his shirt. CBD. Is that right?
They had him on the ventilator.
And he asked him not to be resuscitated. What type of shit is this? Not off a new disease. Not off a new one. Nigga, we don't know what could happen here. Like, nigga, no. What is you talking about? They don't know. What the fuck is this nigga doing? Who allowed this nigga to do this? Bro, the sickness could affect your mind, nigga. Who allowed him to speak for himself? Who the fuck allowed him to speak for himself?
That, bro, but he, like, I don't think he was all there. Like, he was always,
what I'm saying, the sickness can fuck with you, bro. Like,
he would always be spaced out, like looking lost and shit. Like, what the fuck let this nigga sign this paper?
Who the fuck allowed this nigga to speak for himself?
Like his sister.
False start.
The sisters in
Fast. Last night I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark.
We on our own. That's good.
PlayStation button. Use your one. Nigga, the mark of the beast could have been your social security number. Remember how I said you could take it back and say that shit already over and done with. Nigga, the fucking Antichrist could have been when America came here. That's what the fucking Muslims think. That's what they think. The very first motherfucking president. I don't want to say it's the very first because they was thinking of every president in general. But like that could be what we're talking about when they say after the rapture. So it's just the devil gonna reign over this world for. This could be America. It could be America. Right or wrong? Is there any holes in that theory? 1777. Are you saying you don't know how long America been here? Stupid fuck.
I was thinking about
No, 100 years. Peace was 1,000 years of reign or something like that. The devil gonna get the mark, and if you don't get the mark, then you can't eat. But then that could be right now. That could be right now. I mean, if you don't have a social security number, how the fuck you gonna eat? How you gonna get a job? Right? I mean, so what the fuck? I mean, that nigga say that's crazy. No, nigga, that's America. It's global. Everybody has a fucking some type of social security number in every country. It might not be a social security that looks like ours, but they have a country ID. Yeah, nigga, everywhere, bro. You have to be identified and tracked.
But supposedly the Bible says supposed to be on your hand and forehead.
Is that what it says? For effect. Well, then what is it?
Now, it could have been lost in translation, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So I get questioned that. I don't know about the forehead. I've heard of that. Don't get it twisted. I heard of it. But even if
I went back and looked.
No. But you have to understand how to interpret it. If just because they mentioned somebody had the mark on their forehead or hand doesn't mean that's where it's the only place it can be.
No, that's what it says. You can only get the mark on your forehead or hand.
Well, then that just proves everything. It disproves everything. And if that's the translation that you're gonna stick to, like we would have to sit there. I want to read it again. Like let's, you know what I'm saying, devil's advocate of this shit and see what else this shit can mean. Because if it's just on the hand of the forehead, then how the fuck is it a coronavirus shot?
Well, exactly. That
makes zero sense.
And that's what my dad was trying to tell them. He's like, y'all are so religious. Y'all read the Bible because these people that are sick, their mom is a missionary. Like she's died 3 times and came back. Like shit like that. Like God loves this lady and he ain't letting this lady die. Her whole house got COVID.
That shit right there don't make sense. God love you, won't let you die. The guy that if you look at the shit like that, then a whole bunch of motherfuckers dying ain't getting us. But I mean, at the same time, that's kind of how I look at it to an extent. When I say black people ain't never winning, like we serve God the most vigorously, the hardest, the most passionately, and we always lose. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's kind of in the Bible too. The real Hebrews I'm gonna send the very people that I sent you to reign over. They're gonna rule over you. It's in the Bible, and it's the real Hebrews. The real Hebrew, you know, for your sins and transgressions and boom, boom, boom. And we should be living that out. Look at everybody who's the real black people, the real Hebrews.
Because the 12 tribes are actually not so racist, but they were all kind of different.
Yeah, that was the original. Before, like I said, that's the beginning of the evolution where you wanted to stop at Asians. No, it was the original 12 tribes, and then the mountains of Caucasus, and then from there, so on and so forth.
Because the 12 tribes, those are like kind of the first races, and the black race is the one that came.
Nigga, I had looked up something about this not too long ago about how they would. I can't remember if they said they would help each other. I think they would help each other, but it would always be somebody that wants to travel and go. You know what I'm saying? Leave and go establish their family somewhere else, and that's where the interbreeding would come out. And boom, 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 something like that. You know what I mean? There was always travelers. From Babylon to Timbuktu. That book I always tell you about. From Babylon to Timbuktu talks about all of the African people who branched out to make Asian people, to make this person, to make. Let's look that up. No.
Nah, see, for me, I want everything I do to be tangible. Something I want everything I do, all of my time, to be translatable to something you can touch, see, or feel. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a source of energy. Anybody can take that little stick and add it to your flame, you know what I mean, and go off with their own little fire. But I want to be the source. I want to be the main thing. Use your shirt. Hey.
From Babylon to Timbuktu, West African Jews during the slave trade. The black Jews who migrated to the Sudan from the north converted.
Like they actually have Jewish names. They're like, so the 12 tribes were all pretty much different people.
Would have been improbable.
I mean,
A number of different tribes were entrenched in the southern part of the Tigris-Euphrates region. This southern section was known at different times by many names, among which are Sumer, Akkad, and Chaldea. But the name best known to us is Babylonia. This area was also the location of the Garden of Eden, and the people of this region were jet black. I shall prove conclusively that the black people have the most ancient history of all humans. The best available source of proof is the history of the Jews, known as the Bible. In Genesis 2:10 it is written, "And the river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads." There were 4 rivers which watered the Garden of Eden, and I shall cite the 3rd and the 4th rivers first, and then I shall proceed to the 1st and the 2nd rivers, because it fits better into my line of reasoning. Genesis 2:14 reads, "And the name of the 3rd river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria, and the 4th river is Euphrates." Commentators and scholars have identified the river Hiddekel. They say it is the Tigris River. Now I shall cite Genesis 2:13. "And the name of the 2nd river is Gihon. The same is it that compacted and into Egypt." Dr. Spicer, who was a
I was reading it. I never finished this bitch though. I ain't gonna lie.
then more than 100 miles, even south of the Congo River. Godby writes that when they were interrogated in regard to their origin, some of these Jews said they migrated from the south, probably Angola, some from the north, probably Nigeria, and some from other side of the mountains, perhaps Ethiopia. Like the Portuguese Jews, the Valumbu Jews were very active in commerce. When David Livingstone was in Africa, he discovered a settlement of educated blacks about the year 1847. They were located inland about 200 miles from the Luando coast, and they are known as the Jews of Angola. These black Jews are active in commerce, eager to learn, and possess much knowledge of Portuguese history and law. In the commercial enterprise,
I really wanted a more rudimentary.
Balaam, he couldn't just curse Israel because Israel was righteous.
That's right.
And he tried to get Balaam to devote yourself to righteousness. Because I think it was the prophet, I believe it was Hosea, says, behold, O man, has been told to you what is good and what is.
Man, I wish I was a better fucking
For 5 years, he kept his cool, and in return, a revolution.
Bro, this nigga, niggas be on this hoe. Dead niggas that read this hoe also read the Apocrypha. You know the Apocrypha, right?
I've heard of it. I haven't. Frank
The
told me.
Apocrypha is in between the Old Testament and the New Testament, where the Romans ruled or whatever, or the Greek or some shit, whatever the fuck it was. I think it was the Greek ruled, because most of the Romans ruled anyways. But I think there was a time where the Greek ruled, like 300.
Mm-hmm.
That's that area. That's when the Apocrypha.
Yeah.
300. This is Sparta. That's when they ruled, and that's not in the Bible. And any point where Greece ruled, it was always the Romans. And they cut that shit out the Bible. Why?
Well, you know too, like the stories that we hear from the Vikings. There's two books that are used: the Prosetta and something else. But they're the two books that are used to tell the history of the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
It was written by a Christian monk, so they're like it's written with a slightly Christian veil, which is why like Odin is the one god. There was a lot more that we're missing. Like the dude, he even tried to write that the dude that wrote the Prosetta and the other book wasn't written by
A social cataclysm earthquake
He said
struck
that-
the island of Crete.
He said
Many connections between Babylon,
that
Arabia,
God
and
existed
Ethiopia.
when those
There
guys
is
were
more
here.
than adequate
They were no gods,
evidence.
They were just like angels or some weird ass shit. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, damn, in
Aliens.
Christianity, y'all trying to ruin Vikings for me.
I mean, like I said, Jesus is no different from Hercules, no different from Thor. We got procreated with whether you want to call it a flying saucer or a different realm. Like heaven is not in the sky, heaven is not in space. It's a different realm. Meaning, if they came from that different, hell is not in the center of the earth. So the realm that they're talking about would make them alien if they visit us. You know what I'm saying? They came from that realm to this realm. And you know what I mean? As far as, alien and like space and shit go, we don't know for a fact that another dimension could be in another solar system. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. Like, we've never entertained that theory. Music Sean came up with that theory. Bro. That based off the fact that, or the idea, obviously not the fact, the idea that somebody proposed that, okay, we already know that the size of our planet has to do with the amount of gravity that we experience on this planet, right? Meaning, if we go to the moon, we're gonna weigh less. Our mass will be the same, but we'll weigh less, right? We'll still have the same amount of mass, but our weight will change because the gravity is different. What we can't test is that the sun obviously has a gravitational effect on the planet we live on, because we're caught in its
cycle.
within this gravitational pull.
Yeah.
So we rotate, so it has to affect us, right? We've never routed the correlation between that and our planet. Meaning, if our sun was a different size, would we experience a different gravitational experience here on this planet?
Supposedly.
Our planet can stay the same size. I'm 155 pounds on this planet the way it is. If the planet got smaller, I'd weigh less. If the planet got bigger, I'd weigh more. Right?
But let's leave the planet alone, and let's say the sun got bigger.
It would actually pull a couple planets in.
Let's say it
So,
don't. Let's say it doesn't.
Depending on how big it gets.
Because if it gets too big, right, hold on. Let's not make it big enough to kill us. Because I mean, it can be big enough to, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about a slight change, and it's, you know what I'm saying, like something that, but we don't know any slight change. You know what I'm saying? The sun has its changes, but the sun's life cycle, a star's life cycle, is so long that, like the Bible say, our life is but a whisper, a vapor, but a vapor. Like as soon as much as you see vapor here, boom, it's gone in a few seconds. To me, that's how your life. God could be a star. You know what I'm saying? Like gives life to everything within. You know what I mean? Only possibility to life is to be able to be entrapped within the rotation of a star. The only way you're gonna have life that we know of, anyway.
Yeah, because if not, the planet goes off and hits something
that we know of, anyways, because there will be no other heat source.
Oh, that too.
There will be no consistent heat source. And you know, I also entertain the idea that life can exist in different, you know, various forms. It doesn't have to be like, because I was always initially like, even in like 5th, 6th grade, when I found out that they was only looking for water on planets, and there's no water, there's no life. Nigga, fuck that.
What if that specific?
Yeah, maybe they don't need no damn water.
Exactly.
Nigga, fuck that. They can be fucking silicone based. Nigga, I know that's only sci-fi, but nigga, it might be. Shit. Yeah. They don't need, nigga.
There's fucking creatures that can handle.
So I don't want to just say everything needs heat, but typically you need heat to make.
You need heat to move.
Not move to. You need heat to make chemical transactions. You're gonna need. You feel me? Like we didn't have life here until certain meteors hit this motherfucker. Like the amount of water that we have could be due to the amount of meteors that was carrying water and carrying big ice blocks and hit us. Come into the motherfucking atmosphere, start burning up, ice starts melting, boom, splash. You feel me? So to create life or to create anything, I'd imagine you would need not necessarily constant heat, but you would need to have experienced the highest forms of heat and the lowest temperatures at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but at some points. Like that's how it works.
Like for a planet to have life, you're gonna need not necessarily water, but you need a big star to heat so that whatever life is on there isn't just frozen asleep or frozen incubator or whatever. Because that's supposedly what they find on Mars is frozen, like microorganisms. But they're frozen because the water there is frozen. They can't move. They're alive, but the thing can't do shit because there's not enough heat for it to be able to move.
And they can't prove that it was. No, it's not alive. They can't prove that it was ever alive.
Well, that too. No, because they defrost them and they can prove they're alive. Because if you defrost them slowly enough, you can keep the microorganisms alive. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm.
No, I get what you're saying, but I mean that doesn't mean like
a bacteria that's frozen.
Right, like a bacteria, like that doesn't. Yeah, like that's. I mean, life. Yeah, I guess.
But those microorganisms could eventually evolve into life, supposedly. People live.
Right, and there's no proof that they ever have. In the past, before, like
not things that are still. I mean, they evolve, but not
like there's no further than saying that what we already know as far as the basic building blocks of life are here. We already know that. We just don't know, have they been enacted before.
Those basic blocks of life are for our life, not like you said. Not it could be. What if they don't need water? What if they don't need to eat? You know what I'm saying?
Nigga.
Oh yeah. Fuck. I got up at 7.
The fuck this nigga? This nigga's weird, bro.
So I got my business up, went to sleep, broke, woke up rich as check went. So I got my business up, what you think I'm in this for? Went to sleep, broke, went to sleep, broke, woke up rich as check went. So I got my business up.
No, they seen his life on Mars. Yeah. The building blocks. The building blocks.
For as long as mankind has been observing the heavens, we have been fascinated by the possibility that other worlds, much like Earth, might contain living organisms. While our visits to the moon have the first convincing evidence came from instruments aboard NASA's Viking lander in 1976, which conducted 3 biological experiments.
Who told you that?
A gas exchange experiment, a labeled release experiment, and a pyrolytic release experiment, followed by a gas chromatograph mass spectrometer experiment. The labeled release experiment returned a positive result.
You don't age faster due to radiation, nigga. You age faster due to gravity, bro. So maybe the one that wasn't an astronaut aged less. I mean, the one that wasn't an astronaut aged
The second piece of evidence came
more
when a fragment
than
of
the
a
one that
Martian
was an
meteorite,
astronaut.
Allen Hills
Gravity is
84001, was recovered on December
what
27,
ages you, man.
1984.
That's why if you leave the planet and go to Mars and come back, all your family members are gonna be old as
This
fuck.
one was particularly large, weighing almost 4 pounds.
Yeah, it's the opposite of what
It
you
originally
think.
formed on Mars
Gravity
about
ages
4 billion
you,
years
not
ago.
radiation.
It landed on Earth.
We watched the 100. These kids was born already and they don't look older.
Revealed
They're more
material that could be
invigorated.
the remains of
Gravity
fossilized
ages
organic
you,
life
bro.
forms. Although they could also have been formed by inorganic processes.
And I guess too.
Evidence number 3. Finally, the third piece of evidence was
Bro,
provided by
you're gonna be a
NASA's
completely
newest
different
Mars
person when I leave
rover,
this bitch and you gotta fend for
As the
yourself.
seasons
You
changed
gonna
on
remember
Mars,
everything that I told you. Like, man, why did I say that shit and I
emanating from
didn't?
specific
And I
subsurface
didn't.
locations,
I wouldn't.
but only at the end of the Martian winter
You know what
and
I'm
with the
saying?
onset of the
These
Martian
things
spring.
that we go through, we talk
Again,
about, boy, you
this
gonna
is an
be-
ambiguous
you gonna be
signal
one
at
of them
best,
niggas.
as
You gonna be
inorganic
the losers
geochemical
in
processes
town.
could be seasonal
Be the
and
nigga that's-
lead to the release of methane.
Actually,
But organic,
contrary
biological
to
processes
common
also
belief,
But I would do it like this.
5 possibilities for life on Mars.
actually, contrary to popular belief,
If we look at all the
like this,
evidence,
though, look.
there are 5 possibilities for the history of life on the red planet.
no, like this.
Mars could have always been a barren world, or it could have been a world where
gotta
life
raise the
thrived for a
pinky.
time and then became extinct.
Actually, contrary to popular
Another
belief,
possibility is that life could still exist on it even today, which would be truly stunning news for all of humanity.
we already
following
knew that there
scenarios
could
are
be
quite
life on
possible.
Mars. We actually think there's several theories
There never
related
was
to
life
the
on Mars.
idea
Although
that
it
we
has the
came
same
from
raw
Mars
materials
and
as
we
early Earth
went to
in
Earth.
similar water conditions, the necessary circumstances to allow life to form simply never occurred on Mars.
and it is
All
not
the
far-fetched.
geological and chemical processes that occur
that's
inorganically
the
did take
closest
place, but no organic
Planet
activity.
to ours.
Then, a little
Meaning,
over 3
like,
billion years ago,
as far as
the
livableness,
Martian atmosphere was stripped by the sun,
Pretty close.
drying up any liquid surface
No other
water
planet in the
and
solar
leading to the
system even
present
remotely
appearance of
livable.
Mars. This is the most conservative viewpoint and would require that all 3 alleged positive tests
You watched
have
the
either
Elon
inorganic
Musk?
or impurity-based resolution.
Netflix, the Mars.
This is entirely possible and remains in the minds of
show,
many,
like a
the
whole
default
show, and they got that
assumption
nigga, bro.
until very convincing evidence emerges that clearly points to past or present life on
bro,
Mars.
like this.
This is likely
Bro,
to
that
remain
type
a
of shit
leading
get my dick
hypothesis.
hard, bro. That's my
But
type of shit
seasonally
right there,
frozen
bro.
lakes do appear
Oh my
everywhere on
God,
Mars,
terraforming
indicating a
Mars.
water-rich past.
Terraforming Mars.
There was early life
There's
on
a way
Mars,
to
but
do it. We
died
just
out.
gotta get it. Just
In many ways, this scenario
you
is
gotta
just
get
as
an
possible as the
atmosphere on
previous
that
one.
bitch.
It's very easy to imagine that a world with a dense atmosphere similar to early Earth, with stable
Well, no
liquid
shit,
water on its surface,
nigga. Do you know how long
continents
it's gonna
rich
take
in
to get to
geological
Mars?
diversity,
Of course, it's not gonna
volcanoes,
be. It's
a
taking you
magnetic
5
field,
years to get to
a day
Mars.
similar in length to ours, and
You know
temperatures
that?
only slightly cooler than those of today's Earth, could lead to the flourishing of life. However, the loss of Mars's atmosphere had profound effects on the planet and may have led to the extinction of
when you
all life on
catching it
Mars.
as it's coming to us.
Drilling into the sedimentary rocks of Mars and searching for fossilized life forms, or even metamorphosed carbon-rich inclusions, could potentially provide the evidence necessary to confirm this
we're
scenario.
not gonna do anything in Mars,
3.
bro. We're not gonna
Mars
do anything
harbored
on
early
Mars.
life, and it still persists.
I
in a
wouldn't
mostly
advise
dormant form beneath the
doing too
surface.
much on the moon either.
This is the most optimistic,
in my
but still
opinion.
scientifically defensible.
We don't
view
want
of
to fuck
life
with
on
our
Mars.
satellite.
Perhaps there was life early on, and
I'm
when
saying we
Mars
don't
lost
want to
its
fuck with our
atmosphere,
satellite.
a few
There's like
extremophiles remained in a kind of frozen limbo.
there's so little that
If the
we've
right
done with
conditions
it.
emerge,
There's only
perhaps
all kinds
underground, where liquid
like if
water
we
can
start
flow,
putting
that
some
life could reawaken and resume
major
its
metal
critical
structures on
biological
that
functions.
satellite. We don't know how that's gonna fuck with that. It's rotation and shit. Because the rotation's already a crazy one in the sense that it rotates in the opposite direction that it makes its revolutions in.
Life on a world
So
other than
it
Earth
always
would
shows
still
us
be a
the same
revolution for
time.
science.
I don't know if that's the
NASA's
opposite.
Perseverance
Yeah, that is the
successfully
yeah,
launched
that
on
is the
July
opposite.
30th, 2020. Will collect important
And
soil
the speed is
samples to
consistent
test
enough
this
for it to
hypothetical
only
scenario.
show us one side. That's why I said the dark side of the moon. Shout out to Pink Floyd.
There was no life
You
on
feel
Mars
me?
until pieces
But,
of the
that's
Earth
just
hit
one,
it.
bro, one of the greatest albums of all
65
time.
million
Nigga,
years
Get High.
ago, a very
Yeah,
large,
no,
fast-moving
that's what I
body
was saying.
slammed into
That's-
Earth, creating the Chicxulub crater
That's the one.
and
That's the
throwing
one.
up enough
Nigga,
material
just
to
get high.
envelop the
Fuck it,
planet
nigga.
in a cloud of debris,
Or fucking just
resulting
jam
in
it.
the
Fuck
fifth
it,
major
lights
mass
off.
extinction in Earth's history.
That's the one
And as
that
with many massive
that
impacts,
links up
this
perfectly
one
to
likely
Wizard
sent
of
small
Oz.
pieces of the Earth into space.
Like,
Just as
it's
impacts on the moon
fucking
or Mars
spooky.
sent
You know,
meteorites
it's
through the solar
fucking
system,
spooky,
some
bro.
of which
Like,
eventually
you play
landed
the
on
entire
Earth.
album, the record.
The impacts
from
sent
beginning-
material from
the
Earth to
record
other
from
worlds,
beginning to
including
end,
Mars.
and put on fucking
It's
Wizard
extremely
of Oz
plausible
at
that
the same
organisms from
time.
Earth got to Mars
The
and began to
songs
reproduce,
match what's
whether they
going on
thrived
in
or
that
not.
bitch.
Nah.
Swear to
Perhaps
God,
someday
bro.
we will be able to
You never
explore
heard
the
this?
entire history of
Swear
life
to
on
God,
Mars
bro. I'm gonna
and
show you,
find
bro.
out if possible life on
It
Mars.
actually fucking lines up, and it was, bro, and it was pure coincidence.
No, it was pure drugs, nigga. The
No,
niggas
no,
took
bro.
acid and must have
Bro.
fucking seen some shit.
Bro. They were working on both productions at the same time. No possible way they could have known. When this record released, Wizard of Oz wasn't finished yet.
That's a hell of a drug. They could have seen each other. Some shit. I don't know.
Is this a real explanation?
Bro, drugs do crazy shit to people.
That's a real explanation. That's what you're gonna stick to? Like nothing just you
Somebody
can't,
like
you can't say, wow, that's fucking crazy. I don't even know how that was just the best. That's the best coincidence of all time.
To me, it always just comes back to the Pink Floyd. They did drugs, right? Prince did some amazing shit.
But
at
I
the
mean,
time.
bro,
These
you
are
can,
one of a
bro, but
time
you can
people
do,
that
but you
captured
can do that. And how does that? So, like, nigga, they made an album, like, bro, like, it doesn't mean. Like, how does that work? Even if they did do, like, what does that fucking mean?
Shit, maybe one of them took ayahuasca and it took him to one of them god locations.
Man.
I don't know, bro. I heard some people take ayahuasca and see some weird ass shit. But I never heard this thing. That shit crazy.
Yeah, it's not a theory. That whole matches up perfectly.